actually here for once. We've actually come
Attention.
back alive. It only took about 3-4 weeks for my medication to wear off and these voices to come back. Although we've only got two. Jordan and Tino still aren't back, but that's technical issues and booziness. So you've just got us three, Jay, Kyle, and Stefan, who's had a haircut.
I have had a haircut, but I don't feel like you need to point it out.
I needed to. It was required.
It was not.
And I do have to say, I'm sorry, everybody, because I am in charge of the stream, so you have to put up with whatever the fuck I remember to do. Because I will guaranteed forget.
Pretty much.
Hey, because it's me, and, I'm not used to this software. It took us about five minutes just to figure out how to unmute Jay at the start. 'Cause it doesn't say unmute, it's just a little toggle switch.
Is that why one of the messages in our private chat was just, you see that little toggle switch fucky thingy next to the square? I'm like, what?
Yes, because Jay was sitting there going, you have to click unmute. It's like, there is no fucking unmute button.
I was wondering.
Little toggle switch bastard. Yes. Oi.
You still haven't, whoa.
Oi, what you done?
Whoa, I found you.
Kyle, stop messing with the system. Don't make you huge.
Yeah. Hey. Yes, sorry. I'll stop playing around.
Playing around's fine, making yourself huge isn't. It's unnerving.
It's unnerving. Huge Kyle. I can make myself huge if I wish.
Do you know when he does that? Do you know when he makes himself huge on the screen?
Yes.
I feel like it should be accompanied by us with the Ralph Wiggum on the bus saying, "I'm in danger" meme.
I'm in danger. Right, I have just realised I've left the door open and I can hear trains, so I'm going to be 1 second.
Fuck's sake.
Choo-choo, chugga, choo-choo.
Right, so a horse left and he hasn't even given a topic to talk about yet. What was a good start?
October, it's scary movie. What is your favourite scary movie?
Mine?
Choo, motherfucker.
Don't know. Watch anything. Do you know what? They're not scary, but horror genre. I like, apart from the cheesy Final Destinations, just because they're funny. I like the Saw series and I like The Purge. And I know they're pretty mainstream and tame and boring, but like in terms of horrors, like they're not scary or anything, but I just enjoy watching them. I think I like watching Saw because it's clever. It's clever ways to kill and torture people, which I like.
It's my sort of mind.
Yeah.
Just, ooh, how can I make this interesting while killing someone?
And I like Final Destination's idea of, no, you're not meant to survive that plane crash, so I'm going to throw a log at your face and explode your head.
Yeah, that was funny. Or the sunbed just increasing until it kills her, or the laser just destroying her eye, and that's the thing about Final Destination. It's not the fact that it's
NASCAR just landing on someone's lap.
Yeah, it's not the fact that it's like it's outrageously stupid deaths and ways to die, but they are still logically possible in some weird way.
Yeah.
Like, it is possible for a laser eye surgery machine to basically overheat and blind someone. I don't know if it could do that much damage, but it could still hurt them. It is possible for a NASCAR engine or NASCAR wheel to come flying in and kill someone. It is possible for a log to fly off a lorry and kill someone, because it has happened in the past.
Nina gets nervous when I follow trucks because of that. Like, if I get buying log trucks and shit, it's a major issue in my journey. Yeah.
Oh, she would have been shit scared in my car the other day when I crashed them.
Just doesn't like trailers that look dodgy, and people like boats
Uh,
hanging
Oh,
off that. It's got a rope on it.
my missus gets really
If it falls out, I've got insurance.
concerned when I'm following behind lorries or driving beside a lorry on the A1.
I
She
don't like being
gets-
beside lorries. I
she gets
hate
the
being beside
panicky
lorries
state.
because I feel
No.
like they're just going to pull over and not see us.
I'm fine with lorries anytime,
I had that
apart from
happen
on
the
roundabouts,
M4.
because I have been round a roundabout in Blythe, following the lorry, and the lorry has tried to go around a roundabout. Someone has tried to overtake the lorry on the inside of the roundabout, and because the lorry hasn't seen them, it's crushed them into the roundabout.
Yeah, but also there's also if you the thing like I'm not bothered about that because if you see a lorry and it's going round a roundabout, especially if it's a small tight roundabout, not on like a big motorway roundabout or
If
anything,
if
but
it's
on
like a
most,
really tight roundabout or
yeah,
something.
then you've got to have the sense to know that where the lorry is going, the trailer is going to take a tighter line. So you have to have the sense to not go up the inside of them. On my way to work, there's two very small roundabouts, and there's quite often trucks. And you see, like, the truck will come up the roundabout, and people will just squeeze up the inside of it, and the truck has to sit there for about 5 minutes. Like, if I'm approaching with them, I just back off, just let them go around.
Yeah, just give them space. It's like bees and any sort of animal. You give them space, you give them their own time. It's all good.
Smooth.
Like anything like that. Speaking of bees, did you know that they will try and start a fight with a banana?
Will there?
Yes,
Is that
it's
because fruit makes them pissed? Like, as
no,
in,
it's
drunk?
because
Why?
banana scent has isomyl acetate in, and it's the same scent as the aggression pheromone in bees when they're angry.
So a
So
banana is an
so
angry bee.
so if you eat bananas near bees or have like banana scented shampoo or lotion or whatever on, try and avoid areas with bees because they will probably try and come near you and start a fight with you by stinging you or being aggressive or harass you. There's
Does it work?
even apparently, in rare cases, a large hive full of pissed off bees. If you're a beekeeper, anybody know a beekeeper, ask them if they can confirm this. Apparently, if you piss off an entire hive of bees, the hive will just start smelling like bananas because they'll all release the pheromones at once.
Is that why? Oh.
I want to get.
So is that
I
why
want.
bees are
I want
never
to be
next to the monkey enclosures
like
in
a bee
zoos?
farmer.
A bee farmer. A
You want to be
beekeeper,
a bee
Jay.
farmer just so you can smell the bananas all
A
day by
beekeeper.
pissing them off.
Jay, you could also be a
Yeah.
banana farmer and you get stung a lot less and still smell bananas all day.
Plus,
How
you
do
get
I
a
get
tasty treat
stung
at the end
less?
that you don't have to scrape off
Did you
bees
just
and
say, how
stuff.
do I get stung less? Because
Bees
bananas
get
don't sting you.
pissed off at bananas.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's no
but
bees there if you don't
if
keep the bees in your banana farm. That's a disaster. You just got
Imagine
angry
that.
bees all the
Imagine
time.
that. If you're a beekeeper and you've got a banana farm and you just keep them both in the same area, just permanently pissed off beehive.
That's what Jay would do. And then he'd be phoning me going, you said if I farm bananas, I'll get stung less. Yes, I meant get rid of the bees, you dick. I meant instead of beekeeping, not as well as.
Uh,
I
I
want to
wonder
keep.
how
I want
someone
to keep
found all
bees
this
and
out.
bananas quite close together. For science,
For science, we now need to find a
everything's
banana
easy.
farm, put a beehive near it, and just see if it's permanently pissed off.
Yes.
Do you know? Hold on, right, okay. So, bees can go on treadmills.
How did you figure
What
this out?
size treadmills and what you're talking?
This is the thing. I don't want you to pre-research this, right? I don't like in general because I don't want you to purposely try and catch us out. But whatever
Yeah.
animal you talk about, I'm determined I will find them on a treadmill. I don't think there's any animal that a scientist hasn't put on a treadmill. I found out the other day that scientists have put fish on a treadmill, and I was like, is there anything they haven't put on a treadmill? So whatever animal
Why?
you've come up with, I'm gonna find out where some fuckers put it on a treadmill because it probably
No,
will have.
of course they put it on a treadmill. Scientists
No
will put
fish.
anything on a treadmill.
Fish don't even have legs.
No, what they would have probably done is put a fish in a tank that has wheels, and you know the ones where it's got sensors, so if they swim at one side, it moves the wheels. They probably put it on a
It's
treadmill
not
like that and
Japanese
seen if they just keep
convention.
going.
Out of any, why would you put a fish on a treadmill?
Because why
apparently,
not? You can measure its speed. You
I
can
mean,
also see if it
potentially.
understands that it's moving.
It
It can.
understands it's moving, so I do genuinely have
Yeah.
the answer. They put a tank and they have the water flowing, like pumped, so that it's flowing. So there's a current from one side of the tank to the other. So the fish have to swim against the current and not just get smacked against the side of the tank, basically.
So it's a treadmill, but it's not technically a treadmill.
It's more like a water current.
Yeah.
So it's more like a wave.
So
It's more like a wave. It's more
I
like being on
suppose
the wave machine.
so therefore, fish have not been on a treadmill.
I mean,
Technically, it's what you would call a fish
it's
treadmill. But hold on,
it's a water
Technicalities
treadmill.
just not goes into this quite massively step.
J
A fish has
Jay,
not been on.
Jay,
It's been
technicalities
on
is
a
what
wave
this company
machine.
runs on.
yeah, it is a technicality. Also, bees on treadmills uncover a natural remedy for fungicide effects. This was published in the Journal of Experimental Biology, right, on the 20th of February 2020. So it's fairly recent, and it says
Okay.
in orchards,
Oh
farmers.
no.
What?
Okay. I've just realized if it's pre-published in 2020, that means basically scientists have been bored as fuck in the labs. They're not in the department that had to fight COVID or anything, so they had fuck all to do. Their funding was probably drastically cut, and they just thought, right, what have we got in the room? Well, we've got that treadmill that we tried to test on like rats and stuff, and we know it fucking. You know what? That
Dude, you're
fly's
gonna
been
like this even better because I've just read ahead.
that spider's been catching a lot of bees in its webs. What if we just sort of get them on strings and put them on the treadmill and see how fast they go or something?
You say that, but they
Yeah,
do
it
put them on
sounds
a
like
leader.
good ideas.
You're gonna love this because they essentially turn them into
So
bee knights with VR.
so
They put them in armor and give them televisions. I'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
I've just read ahead. But anyway, it says in orchards, farmers
you got to be
combat
positive.
harmful pathogens like fungi, which destroy crops using chemical weapons such as fungicides. However, bees are often the victims of collateral damage. Right? Some fungicides affect the amount of energy organisms can produce. So Ling Si Lau and colleagues from the University of Illinois um, had a hunch that honeybees consumed fungicide and that they might produce less energy in the muscles they use for flying, and their flight performance could suffer. Sorry, if they do. So the worried that it was killing bees, basically. The team recently built a honeybee treadmill in which the insects are tethered while flying so they're wearing a leader, to investigate how a fungicide, boscalid, affects their flight. The bees wore tiny iron plates so that they could be carefully attached to a magnetic rod while flying. So they had bee armor.
That's adorable. I love the fact that it touched into a magnetic rod. What if the like magnets mess with its sense of direction or stuff? You know how some birds
It's
run
not
off the
pigeon.
magnetic plates and stuff. Yeah, well, what if bees have the same thing? Bees,
No, they can
you know, you
navigate
don't know
by
what bees
scent
use.
and sight. They don't navigate by fucking. Yeah, they don't navigate by magnetic fields. They're not pigeons or ravens.
I
Anyway, it
mean,
gets better. In addition to
I
furnishing
don't
their
know.
treadmill with tiny televisions that tricked the bees' eyes into thinking they were moving forwards. So they got VR. The researchers installed fans blowing on the bees to dupe them into thinking they were flying freely. So they've got a VR wind tunnel with armored bees in.
Please tell me they attach little mini jousts at some point.
Kyle, I mean, this is the start of your next army. I've got goats. Jay, what you got? Ducks or something. You got
Jay's got
bees.
like swans or ducks or
Geese?
something.
No, it's geese because geese are angry.
Yes, it was geese.
I
Canadian.
don't
I'll
know.
tell you
I
what.
think
If
I
you've
had
got an army of
once.
Canadian geese, I reckon that could take on goats. Yeah, but basically,
Why am I a Jew? I've just been called Kyle the Jew. Fuck you.
Let's
No, you
just
just
bit
been
off
called.
topic from bees.
Hello, what?
I've just noticed I've been called a Jew.
It's Jordan having a wank, probably.
I mean, yeah.
That was his other plans. Um. So yeah, they then let bees basically fly outside the hive. Selected bees that were keen to fly outside the hive, and then they set insects flying on the treadmill. The fungicide-fed bees beat their wings together at a lower frequency than bees that did not have fungicide supplemented diet. So it does slow bees down and basically kill them. But they tried it with other insects and they just let bees flying around outside. I feel like you could have just studied the bees flying around outside instead of putting bees on a treadmill.
Where's the
I
fun in
mean,
that?
yeah, but yeah, there's the thing. You've got to think they would have probably wasted a day just capturing the bees and getting these little bits ready and all the little tinkering and stuff. They would have definitely just been wasting time.
So how
Somebody
did
was
the
like, I'm going to study these bees flying around outside, and then someone else walked in and was like, oh, I've made this suit of bee armor for nothing then. And then they were like, you know what? Get the televisions in the wind tunnel out. We'll put them on a treadmill.
Probably.
so how did they keep them on a treadmill rather than them flying away? Did they cut the wings off?
No, they were flying. What the fuck?
No, they were attached to a little magnetic rod
They
in the
put
little
them.
suit of
They
armor.
put tiny little iron plates on, so they put tiny little suit of armor on the bee and let it fly. They put little TVs in front of it so that it thought it was flying towards something, and they put wind so that it thought it was flying forwards. And then it got an electrical, sorry, not an electrical, a magnetic little rod, and just magneted it so it couldn't fly away.
So it wasn't on a treadmill.
It was in an air treadmill. It was in a wind tunnel. But
So
for
it's not a
bees, that's a
treadmill.
treadmill.
This
If you
is like
put
the
a bee
whole.
on a treadmill, it's just going to fly off and hit a wall,
No,
or just fly
Stefan,
away.
You
Stefan
said
is being very
specifically.
loose with the
You will-
definition of treadmill.
You said specifically you're gonna find animals that's been on a treadmill. You
This
said
is the bee
fish
equivalent
and
of a
bees.
treadmill.
It's not a bee equivalent of a treadmill. It's a wind tunnel.
I mean,
It is.
I will say I can confirm a bee has been on a treadmill because a bee has landed on my treadmill before.
See, Kyle put a bee on a treadmill.
I don't think it works like that.
I mean, it's landed on the
Ca-
treadmill. So it's
But
been on a treadmill.
Stefan said he's gonna find scientists.
I am a scientist. What are you on about?
You're
Just
not
because I
a
don't have a
scientist.
PhD. Just because I'm not certified, I am no less of a scientist than those amateurs.
So yeah. Jill, put you on a treadmill if you keep arguing with us.
I do
No,
go
that's
on a
a threat.
treadmill.
You say you don't want to go on a treadmill.
No, I said I do go on a treadmill.
When? A year.
When I-
Once a year.
No, I've got to be pure gym membership, don't I? I go on a.
Yeah, since when do you ever go?
Do you
In
know
all
what? It doesn't
fairness,
count as
it
going to the
got
gym if the only
cancelled.
machine you use is the vending machine.
Did it get cancelled because you didn't go enough?
No, it's just because like I forgot to pay it 1 month. I forgot a bunch of the side for it, and like I just left it and never went.
I mean, that sums up most gym memberships.
It got cancelled because you never went in the first place.
In all fairness, have you guys checked your office emails recently?
Yes, I have.
Before, yes.
Yes. So that last email that I sent to you two, right? It has a pure gym built into it.
The
In the
problem
office.
is, how much? Because we need to. It doesn't have a price, which
It
means it's going to
does.
be
It does.
expensive.
It does. We will talk about it later. Yeah.
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 Proper meeting. Meeting after this. Because we've got things going on. We've got fucking things happening, lads and lasses.
Anyway,
A lot of things which
Kyle, what other animals do you want us
it's
to
hard
find
to
out
keep our mouth
what
shut
treadmills
about,
have been
but
on?
we have to.
What other animals?
Admirals.
Right, okay.
But
I know for a
on our
fact.
next T,
I know
J,
for
then you have
fact.
Kyle. Kyle, I saw someone run over the fox the other day. I felt sorry for it. I don't
One of
remember
you
that
two set
conversation.
up these. One of you two set up these audio cues. I'm just putting them up.
No, yeah, it's because we're talking about stuff, and then Kyle just went, "I saw Fox get run over the other day." Like out of absolutely no one's talking about anything to do with it. It was out of nowhere.
Kyle,
because
do you
the
know you can
fox
take
is
these off?
fucking amazing.
If you go into the thing, you could just take a. He's putting the credits now. He's putting the credits.
He's run credits.
He's
All
putting
right,
the
is that the end of the podcast?
That's the end of the podcast.
I feel like
There we go.
we've still got
Thanks
half an
for
hour.
joining
Over. I feel like we've still
I
got half
mean,
an
why
hour.
not? Why not?
I'm getting confused by these by the graphics Kyle's been is putting on.
I'm just putting up
Kyle's
anything
also
and
getting confused
everything.
by them.
I've been cycling through them like every couple of minutes. I just put a
You've
new
turned our
one up.
logo off in that corner. We should have a logo in that corner. You've turned it off.
I
by the looks of
haven't
it.
I haven't turned anything off. It was auto default off, and I can't fucking change it
So you
because
just didn't turn it
all I've
on.
got is I've only got the default. I don't have anything saved. It's not gonna let us change it.
Oh, bugger.
So
Anyway,
unfortunately, we have fuck all. Wait, Stefan,
yes, yeah.
I know for a fact scientists, much like me, love octopi. We love our
Okay.
good octopus.
That's the Japanese in you.
So, and I know for a fact scientists will have put an octopus on a treadmill for some reason.
Scientists would probably put an octopus on the moon.
I think they did actually.
It wouldn't surprise us.
So, I want you to find an example of an octopus on a treadmill, because I know for a fact it will have happened.
I started typing I put oct, and the top search was octopus energy.
Octopus energy, isn't that one of the brands that's now endangered of going bust because of the energy crisis?
There is a health. There is a. What the fuck? There is somebody's wrote a book. It's called Octopus on a Treadmill: Women, Success, Health, and Happiness. What?
Fuck knows. While I'm talking about the energy crisis, we are a fucking island.
Yes, we are.
Why the fuck do we not use fucking
Oh shit, never mind. I read the thing.
hydro energy and shit? Why the fuck do we not use our water source that is on every coast? We are surrounded by water. Why do we not use it as an energy source? We can easily make it into an energy source. We have turbines in the ocean. Just fucking use it. Use it. Can't be that hard to set up a motor and a fucking turbine under the sea so that when the water goes over it, it turns the fucking turbine and generates motion for the motor to charge.
There's a simple answer. It's like they don't want to spend money on useful things.
That's the issue. The government will not, it's the entire reason why lockdown was delayed and stuff. Like, I was listening to the radio today and they were going, why did the government not go into lockdown when we had a 2-month warning? Duh, duh, duh. Easy. Money. They didn't want to lose money. That's the simple answer. It's the answer to everything. Anything a politician does, money. That is what politicians do. Because they are silver-spooned assholes. Money-grabbing thieves.
Kyle?
Yes!
There's been shrimp on a treadmill. I can't find octopus on a treadmill. There's a crab on a treadmill. But I think I've just found something that may surpass this.
I need a video of a crab walking sideways on a treadmill, just staying perfectly still, but the treadmill going along underneath it.
I will send you it later, because that's literally what it is. Anyway, I found something that may be better.
Go ahead.
Seal slaps kayaker with octopus.
That sounds beautiful. How?
this is a video of a seal just launching an octopus at this kayaker.
Where was it as well?
So there's
Someone else is full, so it's just me.
Basically, it was trying to smash the octopus to bits. Yeah, don't do these videos. I'll send you them later, but yeah. So I felt like I was testing out a newly launched camera doing a kayaking trip, pictured an incredible sight: a seal slapping a fellow adventurer with a live octopus. Tayo Masuda, 23, says he was on a GoPro-funded kayaking trip off the coast of New Zealand on September the 22nd. This is 2018. It happened in an instant, he said. A seal surfaces near a kayaker, octopus in tow. The seal whips its head, smacking the boat with the mollusk. The man is left stunned.
I'm not surprised the man is left stunned.
Reports that the man was Kyle Mullender. It was Kyle.
Oh fuck's sake! Of course it was a Kyle.
He told the publication.
It's always one of my people.
He told the publication that he was just as stunned as he looked at the video. He says, "I was like, mate, what the fuck just happened?"
It's like the fucking, where is it? I'm sure I've still got it. It's either a seal or no, it's a walrus. There's a walrus that, I think we talked about this. The walrus that keeps on trying to sink boats, so they've decided to make a floating sofa for him. It's just like that. Animals are just mad.
The thing is, right? Animals are like, it's just proof that humans don't deserve to be on this planet. How innocent animals are, but it's just in their nature. They accept it. It's in their nature. Animals are fucking dickheads. But humans, if like we get offended if we call someone a dickhead.
Oh, we get offended if we call someone their name nowadays.
I don't get offended.
No, I don't. I don't give a fuck. I've walked down a street and had someone greet me by saying, "Oi, fuckhead."
I don't do it all the time though.
Only
Yeah,
on
right.
occasion. We're from the generation who greets each other by just sticking our fingers up at each other. You couldn't do that nowadays.
The thing I don't understand the whole being offended trend. It's like people get like, I understand if you disagree with something, fair enough, cool. You disagree with how that made you feel, but don't get offended over every single thing. And there's a comedian from Glasgow who puts it down into perspective of how stupid people are by getting offended over simple things,
Yeah.
right? And like one of them is that he had a disabled sister who suffered from.
I know where you're going with this.
What are you laughing for? Right? He had a disabled sister, right? So he was saying, like, him and his sister would have jokes about a disability personally because her sister accepted that she was going to have it, and
Yeah.
his sister was like, "Oh yeah, I'm disabled, right? Let's have a laugh about it, because life's too short to be miserable about it." And he tells all these stories and everything. He says people get really offended over my sister, and like you've got no reason to be offended over what my sister. You don't know my sister, what her personality's like, and it's got a point. If you should not be offended offended for someone else when they don't mind
Yeah,
it.
so this is the biggest thing I don't understand. Isn't getting offended over next to nothing or anything like that. I kind of sometimes you can kind of get it, but being offended for other people. If I say something to Kyle, and whether I mean it to be offensive or not, if Kyle takes offense to it, because you can choose to not take offense to it, or you can choose to be offended by it, depending on
We've
who
called
said it
Kyle
to him,
worse than
and
shit, though.
but depending on
Exactly.
who said it to him and what the context is, he could be offended by it. That's fine. Right? But
I
if
don't
I
think
said
Kyle's gonna ever
something
be
to
offended.
Kyle and Kyle wasn't offended, even if he just laughed it off and had a joke and he was like not bothered, and then you were walking past the street and you decided you were offended by it, no, it's not. It doesn't affect you.
Yeah, I think especially if the person that was on the receiving end isn't
That's what I'm
offended.
saying. Yeah. If I say
Like,
something to you and I'm being a cunt and you're offended by it, somebody else takes your side, then fair enough. But if I say something to you and you laugh at it and then you give me shit back and it's not, you don't take offense to it, then what right does someone walking past have to just take offense on your part?
yeah, exactly. It's like if we were just talking to each other in the street, someone would probably think we're absolutely ripping the shit out of each other, but we're not. But there's the thing, right? It's
Yeah.
getting to such a bad point, right? I've read there's a university that has set up an anti-woke club, right? And they've had people join it. They've had like loads of people join it because they're sick of all this shit, including, right? And I love the fact that this was in the headline because they just had to have this in the headline because it's slightly offensive in itself, but it's absolutely beautiful. And the headline was just that a black man had joined it because he
Yeah.
was sick of people walking up to him and saying that he was oppressed.
What?
Because loads of people
This would only happen with
saw him.
students.
So there's the thing. They were saying him and going, "Oh, that's a black man. He's oppressed," which in itself is offensive.
Yeah.
That's stereotyping, though. That's
Yeah, exactly.
That's
You're
what
stereotyping. At
so
that point,
hilarious.
you are the
exactly.
problem, you
But
know?
that's the
Ironically
thing.
hilarious about it.
This was a woke person trying to be offended for this black man's sake
By
by
being offensive.
offending them.
You know what?
The
What I laugh
fuck?
at as well is like they'll go on how like a coloured individual, like a black man, was the only race that was secluded to being a slave.
There were
Yet
there
it's
were
70% of
some
all slaves in history have been white people.
yeah.
yeah.
Or Chinese people. A lot of Chinese people were
Well,
taken as
okay, that was
slaves.
in that category. I just
Yeah,
meant
The
not African
Irish,
American.
look
the
at
Irish were took
the
as slaves. The
look at
Scottish were
the
took as slaves. Welsh were took as
American
slaves.
railways. The American railways were
Will
basically built
Built by
by
Irish
Chinese slaves
and
and
Irish.
Irish and sometimes was it plain Indians as well, or did they just wipe them out? I can never
The Irish
remember.
dug all our motorways as well, by the way.
Native Americans, cow.
Well,
Just saying.
Native Americans, Native Indians, people get iffy on which is
No,
which is right.
no,
Abuse.
Indian people live in India, Native Americans live on the American continent. People call them Red
You
Indians,
see,
which is
that's the
incorrect.
thing. But in my history lessons, the exams constantly
Yeah,
call
I
them
know.
Native Indians
Yeah, no.
for some stupid reason.
A native Indian is someone native to India.
That's what I always thought. It's why I argued with the examiner. They were
Native.
adamant it was a Native Indian. No,
I mean,
Native American. The
even
actual
admit it.
Americans who are now no longer around, or not around as much. I wish they were still around. I would love to just go in a TP and have smoke and shit.
But like,
And I admire their way of life because they didn't waste anything. They lived their best life. They lived off the land and they lived fantastic lives.
Yeah,
I understand.
but
Like back to my
as
point.
is the way with every other country in the world, American has to ruin it and oppress the people that live there. Look, you know this the change my mind guy.
Yes.
Every single other country on the planet would be better off if America didn't exist. Change my mind.
If America, as in USA, didn't,
As in the
not
United States
specifically
of America,
USA,
modern America
as
now.
in current day Americans,
Yes.
not Plains Indians, because they were fine.
If it had been left to the Native Americans who lived there,
Yes.
and not to the
Which we as Brits freely admit it was a failed experiment. We do apologise. We thought you would fuck off and die out thanks to the Native Americans killing you.
That's another thing you just brought up. It's like people expect us to apologize for what our ancestors have done.
Yeah, no, fuck that. We do it
Uh,
as a joke because obviously it is a joke. Your ancestors lived in a time where all of that stuff was acceptable, like the statues being pulled down because this person or this other person was involved in slavery. Everybody was involved in slavery back then. It was kind of it was kind of the major trade. That even Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves, was involved in slavery.
You could upset all the Americans with that.
Well, they can go fuck off.
if you look into the into politics, historical
If you look
politics,
into
Abraham
current
Lincoln
history,
only freed the slaves for economical value. It was for
exactly.
profit.
And if you look at current day, we still
Do you know
have
that Abraham
slaves.
Lincoln?
Where do you
do you
think
know
your
that-
clothes and stuff comes from?
Do you know that Abraham Lincoln's dog got assassinated?
What?
Abraham
Was this
Lincoln's
before him or after?
dog, like 2 days later. You have to be real pissed off at someone to kill that dog after they've been killed.
You ever kill? Basically, they saw the future of John Wick.
Look at the
So they
confusion
decided to
Mikael
kill Abraham
says.
Lincoln first.
I could understand if it was beforehand, because it would be like a warning message to the president or something. What the fuck is the purpose of killing the dog after?
I don't know.
It's like-
Wait there.
it's-
I'll try and
it's
find
like-
it because I did have it
It's
somewhere.
it's as if you go into like
It was called Fido.
It's as if you go into some bad guy meeting. It's like the evil of the evil, and you're like, aha, I killed da aha, I killed da aha, I killed Abraham Lincoln, meh, and I killed his dog. Oh no! It's like extra brownie points.
So it's basically there was a drunken man
So he wasn't assassinated. He was just part of an American doing what Americans do.
No,
Getting drunk and
called
shooting
Charlie
things.
Plank, who was whittling a stick with a sharp, long-bladed knife. The dog ran up to him, sitting on the curb, jumped on him with dirty paws. The man, in a drunken rage, knifed the dog.
So it wasn't an assassination. It was the dog jumped at him. He was drunk
I mean,
and thought the dog was attacking him, so he defended himself.
it did die from stab wounds, and it was 13-year-old. I hope that guy got stabbed to death.
If a dog jumped at me and I thought it was attacking me and I had a knife in my hand, I would have done the same fucking thing. President's dog or not.
Can I just... Sorry. There is an article, and it says about how 1 year after Lincoln was assassinated by stage actor John Wilkes Booth, Fido also met a tragic end. The dog ran up with a drunken man sitting on a curb, jumped on him with dirty paws. The man in a drunk rage knifed the dog, blah, 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 blah. But when you go on Google and, it's just got the question, and then you click on it, and it's just got a line at the top with your answer.
Yeah.
So when you click on the people also ask, who killed Lincoln's dog? And you click on it, it says actor John Wilkes Booth. That's both incorrect, and if it was true, ridiculous.
Oh, Jesus. Hey.
People in history, like.
How, right? How did Abraham Lincoln, one of the only good presidents of America, well, according to history.
Nope.
According to history, I'm saying, Jay,
Mm-hmm.
get assassinated, and loads of other presidents get assassinated. How come no one ever assassinated Trump? Surely he should have been top of the list.
Dude, he's the one president. If I could choose to unassassinate every other president and just assassinate him, I would do it.
Swap out JFK for him in a hobby. I'd love to see them try and figure out the magic bullet going through Trump. It would stop halfway through thanks to his bullshit.
I'd have to get through 80 layers of fake tan first, so that would slow down a bit.
That's probably why any attempts failed. They just never made it through the tan.
It's because when he takes off his fake tan and his makeup, his head's only like that big, so it's really hard to hit.
His head's only that big, but his lips are still normal size.
He looks like a squashed orange.
He does.
Whatever happened to Trump?
Hopefully he's
He's busy nearly causing riots and trying to get back into office by basically switching sides.
Last I heard of him, it's like he was impeached.
No, they were trying to impeach him, but they didn't manage to.
Impeached, not impreached.
I mean, he could be impreached. I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of some sort of cult.
Me neither, to be honest.
I'd be amazed if he's not a
Jesus.
flat earther, honestly, with the things he says.
Oh, don't start on the Flat Earth Society.
Wouldn't surprise us at all.
The Flat Earth Society has members from all around the globe.
Do you know what? Hills and mountains are surely a clue. If it's not even level.
If it's not even level, then someone must be doing the job shit.
Yeah.
You know what I find fucking hilarious? It's like you get all these flat earthers will put stuff on YouTube of like scientific experiments to prove that the flat earth is flat.
And there's never any science involved in it.
And there's never any science involved in it. And if there is any logical
We
science
literally have
behind
photos of it as a
they-
globe.
right, they will disprove the theories so quickly. It's hilarious. It's beyond being hilarious. You just don't feel sorry for them anyway.
When do you ever feel sorry for them?
Do you know what? I just don't understand. Like, I can get behind most conspiracy theories, but flat Earth, like, there's so much evidence. Like, not even I can't even call it evidence at this point. Just fact. There's so much just obvious fact. Like it's like me just going, I don't believe that the sea is made of water, and you're not going to convince us. I've just decided that it's a
In
conspiracy.
all fairness, dear flat earthers, right? The world is round. Facts are there. Search it up. Right? Hashtag facts or facts.
Facts. You tell flat earthers to fax people.
The easiest way, I would rather believe that Earth is the Australia of the universe.
Upside down.
What? We're the
Then-
criminals.
Yeah, we
Yes.
are. We humans were an advanced society. We were aliens. We were an advanced society.
Oh,
and like
yes.
we did, like we did with Australia, where we sent our our
were banished to
criminals
Earth
away
because we
to
were
a
the
different
riffraff.
island. Yeah, we were banished to Earth to try and survive and make our own society there. And basically, they just forgot about us. And every time we get like an ET sighting or anything like that, it's just them checking up on us, sitting there going, "How the fuck are these guys still alive? We thought they would have wiped each other's out by now."
Do you know some of the ridiculous
And
reasons
it,
people
and
got
it's
sent to Australia,
why,
by the way?
and it's why we are so like we are from an advanced society. This is why every once in a while we'll get someone who comes out with brilliant inventions and brilliant advancements, but it's also why our advancements are usually slow and get stuck in a standstill after a couple of years of mass advancement. Which is really weird part of human history if you look at it. We have yet a couple of years of mass advancement where we just invent a load of shit, and then we just stop because we'll get complacent. And then something will cause we to have to make the advancement again. That's the thing. We as a human race are just waiting on some event to cause us to need to advance. And you would think the global crisis of everything would be it, but no, because there's no war involved, because usually war is the only thing that causes human advancement anymore.
That's also bull.
There's always some sort of war going on, but unless it's a big war like Russia versus America or anything, nothing will get done.
On a lighter note, every poo you do in October is a spooky doozy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That is terrible.
Blame
Go hang
Ashley
your
for
head
that
in
one.
shame. Ashley, go hang your head in shame.
Go hang your head in shame, Kyle says.
So
I love the just swinger back.
I found it funny, darling.
there's people being Australians being sharing the ridiculous reasons why their great grandparents were banished to Australia, and some of them are ridiculous.
Spooky dookie, not a spooky doozy.
You spelled spooky doozy.
Well, yeah. Some of them will be like it's just things like stealing a loaf of bread or
Yeah, but one of
like,
them called a lord in Parliament a mangy cunt. Sent to Australia. Stole a
think
pair of
that-
trousers, 7 years transportation.
Yeah, I think at some point we just decided everybody goes to Australia because prisons were full, weren't they?
Stole a sack of flour from his aunt's store.
From
And
his
then
aunt's
made a
store.
joke saying this bitch is so anal that she would notice a sack of flour missing. She did. He got convicted and sent to transportation to Australia.
So on, a family prank sent him to Australia.
Yes. He got sent there for burglary. And then there's someone just said my third great grandfather emigrated from Prussia in the 1890s because he apparently was sick of the amount of wars Prussia got into.
Why not?
Englishman stole a loaf of bread, another Englishman stole tobacco and a sheep. And apparently one Irish woman was just a feisty prostitute. Australia.
A feisty prostitute.
Yes.
She was feisty, so we sent them away.
Someone just put, dude stole some bread and now I get to live on this giant ass island.
Dude stole some bread, now I get to live in this massive house that's 10 times the size of the houses in England. I feel like Australia was an upgrade for just about everybody that went.
I don't think it was, to be honest.
Nowadays it is.
Stole a pair of silk baby booties from the house she was working at.
The thing is, it's such a horrible thing to do, isn't it? You stole my baby's boots. You're going to a different island.
No.
I may have found my ancestor.
No, think about it, right? If there were silk baby booties, that means it was a rich family, and that means they probably had 100 other pairs, and it was just one of those things of the wife goes out once a day shopping and ends up buying useless tat.
Hold on. I thought I found my ancestor, but then I really have. So I found what I thought might have been my ancestor, but maybe it's just Jay's or Kyle's. Transported for the theft of a goose. But then there's another guy who was sent to Australia for stealing the same duck 3 times.
Why steal the same?
Don't know.
How did he have to steal it 3 times though? Did it keep escaping? Was it taken off him 3 times and then eventually on the 3rd time they just decide, fuck it, you're gonna keep on doing it, we're sending you away?
Can you imagine what was going through that guy's mind? Oh, fucking hate the weather over here. No, I'm gonna steal this duck and I steal the duck 3 times just to go to a warm, lovely country.
It's
Oh.
it's like the people who get arrested around Christmas so that they've got a Christmas dinner and a bed at night for the winter. Which kudos to you, whoever like actually thinks of that. Kudos to you. I know
Being
you're getting a
Irish.
criminal record and stuff, but ew.
It's
Or
perfect.
did you just say being Irish?
Being Irish. Apparently, being Irish was just about enough to get transported. At the time, they called they needed farm labourers, didn't want to pay the farm labourers, and English convicts were mostly city people who didn't know anything about crops. Some Irish people were transported without even being charged with any offence. The English made harsh laws against the Irish just to be able to get free agricultural workers. So basically, at that point, they sent all the criminals over, then realised they couldn't look after themselves because they were all out of the cities and they were just nicking off each other. And they were like, we need some farmers over there. I don't use farmers. The Irish grow a lot of potatoes.
But
Well, I don't, because I had a famine.
But why look out for?
That was a disaster.
You've sent the criminals out there to.
Do you think that's why Ireland had a
probably
potato famine? Everyone who knew how to grow a potato was in Australia.
possibly. I mean, but if you think about it, we sent them over there as a punishment, probably to starve and die or kill themselves or basically just be arseholes to each other as a punishment. So why did we end up sending Irishmen to help them? If they're useless and they can't farm or anything to survive, surely the whole point of them being there is to suffer, in which case, leave them there to suffer. Don't help them by sending people who know how to farm.
Do you know what he sounds like? A good old Russian friend of ours that sent a lot of his own people to an island and let them starve to death.
Well, this is the thing, it was meant to be a punishment. If you're sending prisoners to an island to be a punishment, surely, and which was classed as a death sentence to some, surely you wouldn't help them. It just makes me think that the whole sending prisoners to Australia was just a sneaky way of colonizing it without actually colonizing it.
Hold on. So, I've found some more things here, sorry. So, it's basically because we're just arresting people in charge of them for absolutely nothing. And war prisons were full. So, it says there are a lot of serious crimes. Several hundred people were sentenced for manslaughter. There was also convicts who were sentenced for assault, child stealing, bestiality, highway robbery, violent threat, rioting, and things of that sort. Then there are others, and most have to do with stealing. But stealing things like a single potato, corn, a cap, a gown, a hairbrush, linen, a tissue of fine silk, a shovel, a handkerchief, napkins.
I like the silk ones because silk would have been expensive back then. You probably could have eaten for
Take
a
your phone
week
on,
if you
Johnny.
stole something for
A
silk.
man called John Nichols was sentenced to 50 years for stealing razors, silk, ivory combs, wig ribbon, and human hair from his employers, who were hair merchants and perfumers.
I mean, the ivory combs alone would have been worth like a week's worth of food. The silk probably the same. The human hair would have been able to turn it into something.
Oh, dude. So then Janet Campbell was sentenced to 7 years for stealing a handkerchief, a shirt, and a bucket. It's theft, so it's petty theft, and you wouldn't expect to be sent to Australia for it. But Edward, in brackets the younger, Cushing, was sentenced to 7 years and then sent to Australia for allowing ewes to mix with rams of a different breed of sheep. He crossbred sheep and got sent to Australia.
Where he probably crossbred sheep.
No, you crossbred humans.
Yeah.
So where did the Australian accent came from?
Isn't it just like the
British
isn't
influence, isn't it? But it's
isn't it like no? If you think about it, if they just sent over British convicts and the Irish, it's probably a combination of Irish and British, like Old English. Because if you think about it, Old English is what the Americans supposedly American is just Old English because it never evolved, like really Old English and devolved English, English simplified. So, in which case, if you mix an American accent with an Irish accent, if that's what the people who went over to Australia sound like, if you mix that, you do sort of get a bit of a twang. So that might be what Australian is. It's just the Irish and the American mix.
so it's a mix of mainly English, but also with Irish, German, and American influence.
Yeah.
And by the 1820s, the native-born colony speech was recognisably distinct from speakers in Britain and Ireland. So it is. It's just because of all the people that went there that spoke, divided by a common language. We all speak some form of English, but with differences and different accents.
Yeah, so eventually you make some sort of universal form. It's like the theory where you can put 4 people from a different nation on a small island and have them live there all their lives. And by the end of their lives, they will have probably ended up developing their own accent just from hearing the 4 different accents around them constantly together. And because if you guys do the same thing as I do, whenever you hear an accent, you usually accidentally start emulating it. So if you're speaking to an Irish person, you'll find that you have to stop yourself from trying to turn a wee bit Irish when you're talking to them.
You have to stop yourself and go, potato!
So eventually, if you think about it, if you've got that for years, like your entire life, or a couple of generations maybe, it will just evolve and merge into one because you'll constantly be trying to stop each other from talking each other's accents and stuff. It will just become one coalesced mixed accent. So that's all it is. I think no matter where you are, an accent will be made if you leave people from different nationalities isolated somewhere with no access to everywhere else, or even if they
Not
do
even
have access to
nationalities.
everywhere else,
There's
if
so
you
many
have
different
them,
accents in England.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a perfect point. Look at England. We have the northern accent, we've got the southern accent, we've got Liverpoolian, which shouldn't be an accent.
Liverpoolian.
We've got Scottish, we've got Irish, we've got Welsh, we've got Northern Irish, which somehow Ireland, a tiny little fucking island, has 2 different accents. One sounds happy all the time and one sounds depressed all the time.
What's
Right.
Scotland? But some of them just sound like a creaky door.
Right. I've got experimental, like a theoretical experiment proposed for you. If you get the top 2 worst accents in UK, put them on an island together, will it make something good or will it make something bad?
No,
No,
because
it would make
that's
something
Brummie and
terrible because
Scouse.
it would
That's the
devolve
exact
into
2
screeching.
accents I'm on about.
Yes.
Nowhere
Do you
near
know
half
that
involved in screeching. Have you ever
No,
been to
no,
Liverpool
no.
and
Hold on a second.
Birmingham?
Hold on
in
a second.
in intellect? So, sorry, Kyle. Just quickly to interject. In intellectual studies, to see like if you
No,
hear
it's
someone's
accents never
accent,
here.
if you
No,
hear
no.
someone's accent and see how intelligent you think they are, was assigned random voices assigned to random faces so that it was never the same person's face
Yes.
and voice together. Brummie rated below staying silent. Like people thought you were more intelligent before you spoke than if you had a Birmingham accent,
Yeah, well, that's
which
the
I
thing.
feel is harsh but
I,
also accurate.
I know someone who knew a lass who was absolutely fit as hell, and he fancied her until he heard her speak one day and realized she was full on Scouse.
Yeah, that would do for me as well. Now,
But no, if you think
no,
about it,
no.
right, Scouse usually high pitched and really annoying, like how, and they've got that weird right. Imagine that with the Brummie bunged up nose.
Oh, that's gonna be so horrible.
If you speak Brummie, you sound like you've got a bunged up nose constantly. So
It's
if
like,
you've got the fucking accent as well, it'll sound like that.
it's like
It'll
a
just
while
sound
ago.
like a fucking bunged up scouse. It'll just sound like you've constantly got a cold.
I was gonna say it'll just sound like a Scouse with the flu.
It's like a while ago. I pulled a lass from
It'll sound
Birmingham
like a
out at
depressed
a
scouse.
nightclub, and like I couldn't tell she was from Birmingham because like loud music and that. But as soon as I found out she was from Birmingham with her accent, I left her in the kebab shop and only took home me doner kebab.
That sounds like you sold her into the meat trade.
Probably
I
did.
think anyone in Birmingham should be sold in the meat trade.
He probably did. He probably walked into the kebab shop the next day and there was just her head on the counter spinning on the kebab rack.
Fuck's sake.
The best thing is like the sound of notes do sound like someone from Birmingham as well. But like
Right. Are we doing this for 1 hour or 2 hour? Because we said we would do it for 1 hour. Right, okay. So as it's nearly time up, I will end it
It's
with
feeding time at a zoo if you can't tell.
It is. I
yeah.
need my tea.
I will end it with on a high note, a nice note, but it also links into the snowflakeness.
Oh god.
Okay, and this is that a medical student called Malone McWende has created a medical handbook for black and brown people. Now, most people would get offended by this, despite the fact that he himself is black and brown. Most people would get offended by this, but the second-year medical student, identified racial gaps during his studies because he explained that many resources, including most medical journals and textbooks, refer to symptoms on white skin. And obviously, some symptoms will be harder to spot or different on black skin. It's sort of like how you can see tattoos on
I
white
was just
skin
going to say,
clearly,
so like it's harder
but
to
on
see tattoos and stuff.
but
on
on
darker
black
skin.
skin, you can't. Bruises and stuff as well, they appear differently on coloured skin. Even if you've just got a tan, they appear different. So the handbook displays signs and symptoms on darker skin, and it's got pictures included, and it's got the different sort of levels of tan and different levels of colour, and it shows you what those symptoms would look like on that colour.
I have one issue.
I can imagine loads of people will be getting offended by this, or even if they're not coloured, just because someone had to make a textbook for this. But I'm wondering why it hasn't been done sooner, because if you think about it, like, surely if you've got medical textbooks which are teaching the next generation how to diagnose things, surely it should have examples for every sort of circumstance and consequence.
Yeah. You would think so. You would think that in whatever books you would normally study, it would have examples of things that do differ, like you said, bruising and stuff like that. You would think it would have examples on all different colors of skin, so that you kind of know what you're looking for, no matter who the patient is.
Yeah.
Like, you think that would just be common. I do have one issue with it.
Well,
There's no such color as brown. It doesn't exist.
Oh God!
for
goodness.
this again.
It
This is
fucking
for our
doesn't.
next topic. Right. So basically, thank you for listening. I've been your host, Jay.
I've been your host, Kyle.
Am I a host?
and the person in charge of this randomness. Hence, so I do apologize for all of this stuff. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/takenofair. You can follow us at Twitter at takenofair. You can follow us on TikTok at takenofair.
That hurt Kyle's feelings.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/takenofair. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us
Taken
where
off TV, not
where
taken off air.
most podcasts are. Sorry, taken off TV. You can go to our website www.takenofair.com. You can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/takenofair. Instagram at takenofair. Reddit /takenofair. You can support us on Acast with supporter.acast.com/takenofair. We are always live at takenofair.com/live if you want to find us. Just head to our website. We've got everything there, including our merch shop, takenofair.com/shop, where you will find magical t-shirts, such as one of my quotes, and our beautiful line of simplistic shirts, limited edition jumpers, and snapbacks, which I'm amazed Stefan isn't wearing because he nearly always wears a hat.
Do you know why?
Why?
I've been raving to work.
Ah.
Oh, before we turn off,
Did you just call these beers?
We are.
Yes, I did. Before we turn off, anything you buy from Taking Off Air is now in partnership with Plant More Trees. So if every item you purchase, you will plant one tree. So if you go on, buy 10 items, that's 10 trees planted.
And it doesn't need to be big items or anything. We do just have stickers as well.
And best
And
thing is,
just
you don't need to pay
simplistic
anything.
things.
The best thing is, Kyle
We
doesn't know
collect
yet, but they're all
charges.
getting planted in his garden.
We'll get planted Kyle's garden.
I mean, to be fair, my garden is very ecological because it does have a lot of trees, mostly from Kielder, but it does
Yeah, but
have a
around
lot
the
of
outside, though.
trees. Yes, I've also got my little terrarium and my 2 cacti.
Can I just point out as well that you saying your garden's full of trees, mostly from Keeler, just sounds like you've been actually digging up and stealing trees from Keeler.
A couple of them may have been dug up when there was saplings.
That's why Andy hasn't been on. He's avoiding Kielder Rangers.
he's been arrested for tree smuggling. He's been sent to Australia.
Unfortunately, he probably has been. So thank you very much. This has been presented by Subdecide Productions Limited, because we are now a company.
Whoop, whoop.
And we will see you all next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we
won't see me
hope you
'cause I'm at
have
work.
a fantastic time. Okay, we'll
Well,
are
fuck
you at work
you
this
then.
Friday?
I always work. I'm working every October. I work every Friday, Sunday.
Love how Jay says I always work
Oh.
after being off work for like 8 months.
I know.
I haven't been off for like 8 months. I've been on
Feels like
parental
it.
leave.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you're listening to the podcast, it is primarily a podcast, so thank you very much for listening. We hope you have
It's a
enjoyed
podcast, isn't
this
it?
whateverness. Bye. Jay, where do I stop it?
Oh, for
Oh
fuck's sake.
God.
Jay, where do I stop it? There's the button.